Action cameras are a staple for those of us like me who make cycling and bike packing content. And although nowadays I mostly use cinema cameras and high-end drones for my bike packing films, there is still a place in my repertoire for action cameras because of their great stabilisation and their quick point and shoot features. In this video we're going to look at the top 5 shots that you can get with these sort of action cameras, and we're also going to look at some shots that you absolutely should not do.
The first are flybys. Setting up your action camera on the side of the road or trail and flying past always looks cool. And there's the added bonus that most action cameras will shoot in a high frame rate, so you can do some cool slow motion stuff as well. The second is mounting it directly to your bike. If you're whizzing downhill or in an amazing place with incredible scenery, this is the option for you. It gives the viewers an insight into what you were actually seeing as you were riding, and because it's so stable, it tends to look pretty majestic. It's very easy to do. And the third is a chest mount. Similar to mounting directly onto the bike, you get some really good POV footage, but you can also see what you were doing, where you were changing gear, and what you were doing with the brakes if you were going down some pretty sketchy descents like I am here. I feel these are pretty cool, but also really easy to do, just don't overdo them. Next is setting up the camera in an interesting location, like turning it back on yourself, going through a storm, or just putting it in your hand and showcasing what you can see. Because it's so small and light, this is easy to do. And if you go for a really small action camera, like this Insta360 Go 3S, which is super tiny, you can pretty much attach this anywhere to the bike and get some really interesting B-roll, like attaching it near the drivetrain, showing when you're changing gear, sticking it under your bottom bracket so you can see what the front tyre was doing, or sticking it to the back of your bike under your saddle using this cool seat rail clamp, and even sticking it in your water bottle. And lastly, another really interesting shot you can get with an action camera is a time lapse. Similarly to the others, you don't want to overdo it with these, but you can get some really unique shots by leaving the camera running for a long period of time. As long as it's in a fixed location and there's lots of movement going on, you can get some really interesting shots. So which shots should you absolutely never do? The first is really simple, and it's a bit of a bugbear of mine. It's just leaving the action camera running for 2 hours, 3 hours straight and filming everything on your ride. Not only is this incredibly boring and tedious, but because you never actually move the camera, you don't get any form of story, any form of interest. It's just the same shot again and again, most likely through pretty boring conditions. The second is overdoing POV shots, and by this I mean when you put the camera on your helmet or on your hat or somewhere that is attached to your head. By turning left and right constantly, it's really disorientating for the viewer. If you keep doing this for a long period of time, it is really difficult to watch, and most people will switch off because of it. Try and keep your camera fixed as much as you can, unless you're doing some sort of extreme downhill riding or you want to show people what you're doing in traffic so we can see what you're doing with your head. Otherwise, use these sort of shots sparingly. And the third one, which is a really common mistake, is not using the built-in digital lenses for these cameras. Most action cameras won't allow you to change the lens like a good quality cinema camera will allow you to do, so instead you have to be clever and use the built-in digital lenses. The problem most people have is when they're doing a flyby, for example, they leave the lens on super wide, which is fine for point of view shots, or if it's on your chest, something like that. But if you have the camera set super wide on a landscape shot as you're flying past, it starts to look very fish-eyed, very warped, and you as the subject tends to be quite small and not the main focus because everything's zoomed out. So as a result, it tends to look pretty naff. So what you need to do instead is, if you've got a GoPro like me, is switch the digital lens to linear or more of a square shot so that the lens is less warped when you're doing these sort of flybys. Everyone has a different experience with these sort of cameras, so let me know what you do with yours in the comments, and also let me know some really annoying shots for you that you think people should absolutely never do.
And by the way, the cameras that I used in this video are a GoPro Hero 11 and this Insta360 Go 3S. That's the tiny camera you've seen me mention a few times. All the accessories I've included in this video will be in the description, including the seat rail mount, which is a really cool way of attaching this tiny camera to your bike. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.